persecuted. And three, I really wanted to show Israel in a way that the Arab media never showed. You know, Israel was perceived only as a state of war, hate, um, uh, again, terrorist organizations, and so on. So for me, it was like, I grew up in this beautiful country, in this variety of cultures, in this, you know, multiculturalism society where there are Arabs, there are Jews, there are Christians, Druze. It's not what the media is portraying. So I started creating videos on social media in Arabic, and I was the first person to actually speak in Arabic about Israel. So I was the first person to normalize talking culturally and religiously about Israel, to especially to the Lebanese people, my people, obviously. And my videos obviously went super viral in the Arab world, like millions of views, millions of reaching. Slowly, from comments of hate that I was receiving at the beginning, I started getting messages of encouragement, people that are saying, we want peace, people that are saying, thank you for showing us a different part of Israel that we never were exposed to. And the most important thing, in my opinion, was people that reached out and say, thank you for giving me hope. We need hope in the Middle East, because sometimes it seems that it's only extremism, it's only war, but actually people on the ground living a totally different life from what we see on TV. Of course, it's a very complex reality, it's a very complex, you know, day-to-day life, but people on the ground actually live together, work together. We have shared values. We have a lot of beautiful things that we do together that no one is telling, especially on social media. And this is what I do. This is what I want to do. And this is my message. This is my purpose, to be a bridge between nations, countries, religions, and try to really bring the beauty of the Middle East and try to connect the people in the Middle East instead of, you know, dividing us. And this is what I do, especially with Israelis. This is what I do here. We're doing these talks to spread the message of hope, spread the message of, you know, complexity on the ground. And last thing that I want to say is that my family right now is in southern Lebanon. It's a war zone. The Christian villages are not touched by the IDF, but unfortunately, obviously, fighting a terrorist organization, you have a collateral damage that I hope it will be the last war. We can finally see the two states, the Lebanese state and the Israeli state, having direct talks for the first time in years, which is amazing because it means that Hezbollah is not in power anymore. We're not there yet, but hopefully with a diplomatic approach of peace agreement and trying to really eradicate the organization and its weapons on the ground, we will be able to create a peace agreement that will last for years to come, to able the countries, you know, to prosper together and for the people to live together and to rebuild both countries, actually, because I lived the war from both parts of the border, in northern Israel and in southern Lebanon, where my family is. So this is my message, and we will be able to ask anything you want. Thank you so much.
Give her a round of applause. That's Mariam. What a passionate speaker. Anyway, I'm Bafana Modise, Pastor Brad. It's good to be back home. It's good to be back here. It's been a while. Gavi left me and went to exile. But he's back. He's back on board. There's a story of Jonas. He got to Nineveh. He came back from Tashishi. But our second speaker also is one inspiring lady with a good message. Most people don't even know that within Israeli society, you also have black people thriving there, the Ethiopian Jewish community. And the biblical scholars will tell us that it starts with the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon. but I don't have all the full details. She has all the full details. So please give it up for Halftime. Give it a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. First thing, I want to say thank you for inviting us. You have a wonderful, beautiful country, beautiful people, and very lovely people. So thank you again. I will start by telling you a bit about myself. I'm Haftam, I'm 27. I live in Israel since 2001, born in Gondar in Ethiopia, that's in the north of Ethiopia. I do marketing, but I also work with the Ethiopian community, the Ethiopian Jewish community, and also I work for Black Lives in Israel. I co-manage a program that trains Ethiopian women to get into social and political roles. I organize protests, I fight injustice in Israel, so you get the right person to tell you about the life of Black people in Israel, both Jewish and non-Jewish. But first, let's talk about the Jewish community. Like he said, our story starts with Queen Sheba and King Solomon, a very beautiful, romantic story. Queen Sheba arrived to the palace with all of her crew, and she said to King Solomon, if you want to marry me, you have to answer 3 rhythms. Obviously, King Solomon, the smartest man alive until this day, had the right answers. And he married Queen Sheba. In the Bible, we know that Queen Sheba was from Habash. Habash is nowadays Yemen, Ethiopia area. And this is how we know that Queen Sheba was a Black woman. And we, the Ethiopian Jews, are the descendants of Queen Sheba. Later on, with the years passing by, let's say in the early 1400s, although the Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived in harmony for a very long time in Ethiopia, with the rise of empresses, the anti-Semitism and also Islamophobia started rising in Ethiopia. And both Muslims and Jews suffered a lot, but it was different for the Jews. In the 1400s, the Ethiopian Jews had to make a decision. Do you want to convert and get education, get lands, get the opportunity of like normal life in Ethiopia? Or do you want to preserve your Judaism, but we will take your lands? You wouldn't be able to learn how to read and write. You wouldn't be able to work. The majority of Ethiopians, what they used to do back in the day was doing arts, crafts, anything that they would let us do. And for the next 400 years, Ethiopian Jews have been suffering from anti-Semitism. We were being called falashas, which means in Amharic, landless, wanderers, people with no land and no name and no money for 400 years. And the only thing that held us alive, that kept our head above the water, was the faith. The dream about Jerusalem. In those 400 years, we didn't have TV, we didn't have internet, we did not know what's happening above the Red Sea. Do you have something in Jerusalem? Where are the rest of the Jews? Are they still alive? Are there more Jews out there? Are we the only one that's left? Are we the only one that's suffering around the world? Especially in Africa. How news were not coming. No actual international relations between the countries. But the only thing we had was faith that one day we will get to Jerusalem. So is my family as well, by the way. And then in the late 1800s, the international relations between Ethiopia and Europe started connecting. And there was one man, Jacob Feitlovich, a Polish Jewish man, that heard that there are some villages in Ethiopia with Jewish people. He said, I have to see it. I have to see, are there actual Jews there? And at that point of time, Ethiopian Jews did not know that white Jews existed. It was a surprise to us as well, just like them. And then they see these groups of Ethiopian Jews praying, having our own Bibles, preserving, not marrying any other religion, keeping Shabbat. When, when, um, when my family were back in Ethiopia, we were living in a village in Gondel. And my older sister always tells me that my mom used to call it the 3 stars. In Judaism, on Shabbat, you're not allowed to do many things until the end of Shabbat. In normal countries, you have a clock, you look at the clock, you know, okay, Shabbat is out, we can light fire, we can do many things. But in Ethiopia, and especially the village that my mom and my family lived, we used to look at the stars, you used to count. Once there's 3 stars, we know Shabbat is out and we can go back to our things. And this is the little things that we had to preserve Judaism in Ethiopia. So Jacob Feitlovich, he met the Ethiopian Jewish community, and the first thing that he did was run back to Israel and say, hey, there are more of us. You know, there are more of us. We need to do something to bring them back. We need to do something to help the connection between the Ethiopian Jews and the European Jews. What he did was to build schools, take some of the Ethiopian Jews back to Israel, back to Jerusalem, to universities around the world to get them education for the first time, to tell the Joint that there are Jews there, that they need to go operate there and help them with money, help them with healthcare. And with the help of Jacob Feitlovich and later on other scholars, they built more than 40 schools in Ethiopia. The Jewish community in Ethiopia, in Gondar, in Addis, started growing until, obviously, Jews are thriving. What's going to happen? Somebody's going to say, oh, no, no, no. This is against Ethiopia. You can't be both Jewish and Ethiopians. They said, we will close all schools. That's it, we're closing all schools. Every teacher, every principal of each school was thrown to jail. All of them. And some of them died, some of them were killed by the police, and they said, no, you can't practice Judaism anymore. One of those students, one of the principals of the schools was Yona Bugala. Yona Bugala was one of, and probably the best student of Jacob Feitlovich. Jacob Feitlovich took this Ethiopian Jewish man and made sure that he will go from a very young age. He learned Hebrew, English, he went to Germany, to Switzerland, to France to get higher education. He was multilingual. This poor Jewish Ethiopian kid that if it wasn't for Jacob Feitlovich would probably never know how to read and write. He took him, they built the schools, and when the schools were shut down, Yona Bugala said, I need to do something for my people. And he went to speak at the Jewish Federation of North America. There was a convention in Montreal, and he spoke to 1,800 people from the Jewish community all around the world. And he had a speech, obviously I'm not comparing, but very similar to I Had a Dream, but differently. And he spoke about our struggle, and the struggle, and how much we missed Israel, and how much we need to go back, because we're Jews as well. We need to be back in our homeland. And thanks to that speech, Jews started to going back to Israel. We had 3 main operations by the IDF and the government of Israel to bring Jews to Israel. And those operations were very, very dangerous. At that point of time, Ethiopia did not agree to let us Ethiopian Jews go back to Israel. So what they did, the Mossad, which you probably all know, he started a fake resort in Sudan. Ethiopians would say, oh, we're just going, we, the poor people, we're just going to have a vacation here in Sudan. No Zionism here, guys. We're just gonna cross on a boat and get there. And from there, they would go on boats to a different area in Sudan. All of the resort was Mossad agents. Okay, it's not only the beepers in Lebanon, okay? They were smart even back then. So from there, they would take them to airplanes, obviously with many Mossad agents that are Sudanese and Ethiopians as well. And they took them on a few flights. Every flight was between 4,000 to 14,000 Jews. You know, the US Secretary Senate said that Israel is the only country ever that have taken African people from their land to their country for a reason that is not slaving. The Ethiopian Jews in Israel, when they come, they're immigrants, they give you housing. In that housing, you have meals, morning, afternoon, night. They teach you Hebrew. They teach you how to blend culturally. This is something that I did also and my family did in the north in a very nice kibbutz for 5 years. For between 2 to 4 or 5 years, you live at the expense of the government and you're getting education at the expense of the government. All that so you can combine perfectly into the Israeli society. And this, at the moment, we're 170,000 Ethiopian Jews in Israel. Out of them, all the ones that immigrated to Israel, they received a lot of help from the government. Until this day, if you are an immigrant from Ethiopia, you can get special help with school, with housing, with universities, anything just to make you succeed, to help you. You know, at the end of the day, an immigrant from Ethiopia is not an immigrant from the US. Jews, we might be all Jews, but it's not the same. And you need a bit more help. And this is something that represents the way that Israel is. We, as Israelis, obviously, there is racism just like in every place. But to me, when I hear, and this is why I started speaking for Israel, I'm a person that works for Black lives in Israel. And to me, to hear things like that, like Israel is racist, words like apartheid, it's insane to me because I know how much Israel gives back, especially to minorities. No country is perfect, but the US, Canada, London, but even South Africa, there's so many things that you can learn from Israel about treating Black people. Many things. I think my time is already over, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Wow, give a round of applause. Yeah, it is true that Israel is the only country that took black people, not for slavery, but to return them home. Isn't it amazing that 2,000 years ago, Prophet Ezekiel wrote a scripture, a very famous prophecy, will these bones live again? And he says, from the four corners of the earth, I will take you from the nations of the east to the west, and I'll bring you back to Zion. And for 2,000 years, that was just a preaching, maybe to excite believers that God will revive you in your life, will revive something. But today we can see it come to life. I think everyone who has been to Israel here can really look at this beauty and say, but God, you are faithful. Zechariah writes that children shall walk the streets of Jerusalem again. Old men and old men shall walk with their stick in the streets of the city. And you, as you read it, probably if you're a pastor 100 years ago, you are like, maybe it's allegoric. Maybe God means this. Maybe he was meaning this. But now you can say, what God says, he shall deliver. And Israel is the banner of God's promise and faithfulness. And we are thank you once again for hosting us. But the next speaker is one thing that Israel is, again, as a partner. As we say, we want to change mindset. We want to show the full picture of Israel. Fuad Ahmed is a Muslim, Arab Israeli. He's living in Israel. He has worked with 2 Israeli presidents. I don't want to say much. Fuad Ahmed, my brother, come here. Tell us about the apartheid.
Hello everyone, my name is Fuad, not Faoud, but it's okay. It's a whole week I correct my name, okay. Okay. No, in the first time, second time you can, okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay. Thank you for having us, everyone. My name is Fuad. I am from the north of Israel, the best, beautiful part in Israel, in the north, in the center of the Galil. between Akko and Haifa. Yeah, I grew up in Tamra City. Tamra City is a 100% Muslims community. We have a lot of mixed cities. There is, for example, Shfar'am. It's next to my city. It's a mixed Arab community, Arabic Christians, Druze, Muslims together. And there is a mixed city like Haifa and Akko. There is a full mixed group, Jewish, Arab, Muslims, Christians, all the communities. So there is a lot of types of cities. But I grew up in a city it's full Muslims community. But we have, it's not for me, okay. It's from my laptop. Okay, yeah. So what I want to say is, I grew up in Tamra, but we can see from the establishment of Israel a lot of collaboration between Muslims and Jewish, because Tamra is very famous as a agriculture city. We are very famous in cucumber and tomato, where my city spread for all of Israel from the north until the south, cucumber and tomato. And we have a good relationship with the near kibbutzim because the agriculture. And now also from my city come a lot of Jewish and non-Jewish to our beautiful and delicious restaurants. So when you come to Israel, you should visit our city because it's a very most delicious hummus and knaf, all everything. Yeah. But because I am from but this is very beautiful. I didn't plan to talk about this, but look, this is an information about the food. Because I'm from Tamra, we are very close to the Lebanese and Syrian border, so we have a very similar food. But for example, Jerusalem, it's very similar to the Jordan people. In Gaza and the south, it's very close to Sinai. So it's very interesting, one country, because we have a lot of regions. Every region have a different food. So for example, the north is very different from the Jerusalem food. So the best food is the north. Let's finish this. Yeah. Diplomatic answer. You and me, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I grew up in a very special family because my father is come from Egypt, from Cairo in the 19s, and my mom he is from the north of Israel. And I grew up in two main purpose. The first is the peace, to strengthen the peace between the Arabs and Jews, to strengthen the relations between Arabs and Jews into Israel. And the second, to strengthen the relationship and the peace between the people of Israel and the people of the Middle East and the Arab world. So I grow up and see my father assist a lot for our Arab community with the government, with the ministries, with the member of the Knesset, and also make a lot of activities to strengthen the relations with the Arab world. Because until today, the Arab world, the most majority of them didn't know about us, about the around 20% of the Arabs of the Israeli population are Arabs. We have now up to 2 million people in Israel is Arabs of Israel, and into these groups, the most majority of them are Muslims, and we have Druze, Christians, all these groups. So a lot of the people in the world, also in the Arab world, also I talk in UK and Europe, and also there they didn't know about us. They know from the media there is Israel full of Jewish state, and there is Arab, but in East Jerusalem, Gaza, and West Bank. They didn't know into Israel there is up to 2 million Arabs live together with the Jewish, and we are involved in every sector in the country. You can see Arab, not just me working in the government. There is a lot of Arab success in the hospital service, in the judgment, and we have up to 10 members of the Knesset parliament also. And everywhere in the academic, we have now up to 21% of the academic are from the Arab society. So the Arab society involved in each sector in the country, and I think this is the best answer. If anyone he didn't never visit Israel and say Israel it's apartheid, but you can see in each sector a very mixed, beautiful types of people in Israel. So if it's Israel apartheid, you cannot see all of these people working together, live together in each sector in the country. And the last thing I want to talk about is we have 7 October that it's starting from the south, but we also, the people of the north of Israel, we have at least 3 war at the last 2 years. 2 of them with Iran, 1 of them with Hezbollah, and these days was a very, very, very hard, because if with the war with Hezbollah we feel safe because we have a shelter and we have a safe places, but in the war with Iran there is no place safe in the country. We was all a target, and it was a very, very scary days. And in the news they didn't talk that they also are victims and killed Muslims and the Druze and the Christians and Arabs in these missiles and who sent from Iran. And in the last war with Iran, there is missiles come to my town, Tamra, near for my home, and I lose 4 ladies, 2 mom and 2 daughters. One of them it's from my family, mom family, and there is a lot of victims from the Arabs and Jewish. But what I want to say that when the enemy of Israel sent missiles for Israel, the missile they didn't different. It's Arabs village or Jewish city. We all in the same target. We all live together. So we are in the end Arabs and Jewish, Christians, Muslim. We all in the end we are Israeli, and this is my message for all this enemy, that we are stand together and we are alive together. And also thank you for stand with us, guys. And I very hope to come to visit us very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Habibi. We're gonna take questions and advise you to take advantage of this moment. Yes, I would like them to be, but I was told that everything is set up very nicely. Hopefully you can see their faces from there. But you can take, okay. Don't want to mess up anything here. Better. Thank you, Pastor. Perfecto. Okay. And I believe their mics are on. Perfecto. Okay. So I advise you to take opportunity to the moment of advantage of this moment. You don't get to see Arab Israelis, Ethiopian Jews every day. Me and Gavi can go to churches and tell you about Israel, but at the end of the day, we still live here. We are still in load shedding and Ramaphosa and ANC. We are still here, you know. We go there like Pastor Brad for 2 weeks, enjoy the sunlight by the beach, pray by the Western Wall. But these are everyday people who are in the land, who are screaming at the Jerusalem market, who are chilling at Tel Aviv. This is their story. We are just the amplifiers of their story. So please feel free. There is no such thing as a wrong question. And yes, it's recorded, but at least it's here. So don't worry. No worry, you won't trend. So please, with honor, you can start to raise your questions. Raise your hand, and I'll come to you with the microphone. But as you ask your question, just say your name and straight to the question. Are you all right? Thank you. Let's have a good conversation. Sir.
Mariam, I want to ask you, how many Lebanese are there in Israel? And do you ever get all together at any time of the year?
So currently in Israel, my community is 3,200 person. We are a tiny community, and we are very connected. We have events together. We have, the majority are Christians. So we have a priest that is Lebanese priest. We are Maronites, so we have a priest. We have events together. The youth are always, we do stuff together. We even marry from the community to preserve our community as much as possible. So yeah, we are very connected, and we have a lot of, events together. Yeah.
Thank you, Miriam. Question number 2. Okay, we are here. He missed the rule. Please keep it. Your name and then your question.
Good evening. My name is George Kuri. To Fuad, I just would like to ask you now, with the current war and you now serving God where you come from in Arab, if people are there praying for you, do they have to hide because of Christianity? Can you just answer me in that way? Because if you pray, God's prayer is very powerful when you ask Him to do something.
Thank you. Fuad, with the current war and doing what you do you feel intimidated as an Arab? And how does this affect you in your community? Is that the question? Is that the question? Did I say it right? As an Arab, as someone who's speaking out for Israel, and by the majority being that the majority are against Israel, is it something that is...
He asked if I into Israel or outside Israel.
No, I'm just saying, you speaking in Israel,
Yeah.
in the Arab world, how do they take you? Are they ambushing you? Are they supporting you? What is the public perception around it? Are you persecuted for what you're doing?
So, what I find that there is, because there is all the last years, there was a non-dialogue between the Israelis with the Arab world. Also, there is no connection between Arabs of Israel and the Arab world. Because of that, the most majority of them until now, they didn't know about us. So because of that, when they see anyone from the Arab world, listen for anyone from the Arabs of Israel, directly they say, no, there is no Arab, he is not Muslim, he is Israeli. But what? I am Arab, I am Muslim, I pray five times in the day. I go to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. How we are not Muslims? So that's what I mean, because there is a non-dialogue a long time. Now there is also in the social media a lot of fake news in the Arab social media. So because of that, they didn't until now. Also the education, they all the time get education that Israel it's a full Jewish country, and there is Arabs just in Gaza, just in West Bank, and East Jerusalem. So all this information make an image for the Arab world that there is no Arab Muslims, for example, in life together with the Israeli. And if there is an say Arabs into Israel, okay, that's an Israeli, that's an Zionist, okay, that's not an regular Arab Muslims. There is not Palestinians, but the most majority of the Arabs of Israel are Palestinians. So because of that, Miriam have a good work. It's explain, and this is a very hard mission. He take about the responsible to take this. He talk for the Arab world about what really happened in Israel. Yes, there is a very group of people educated from Miriam and get to know, but there is also a big group that didn't take all the information at Miriam, and they think that Miriam make an PR for Israel about fake reality. But this is Miriam share the reality. So and that is why we are here, because we should separate the reality and share the reality, the real reality that we are live all the time in Israel.
No, thank you, Fuad. I think you gave it very well. I think also there is this attempt that Whenever you speak for Israel, it's either you are paid for, or it's either you are Jewish, or it's either you are a Zionist. Oh, yes. But then when you speak for Palestine, you are a perfect human being. You are an angel from heaven. And that must be destroyed. Because now we are told that Jesus was a Palestinian. Bethlehem never happened. Judea and Samaria. These people are trying to redefine history. And the church, we know the truth. It's been 2,000 years of reading the same book every Sunday. We can't turn back now. My sister?
Annie, Irene, I just wanted to ask Haftam, when your family got to Israel from Ethiopia, how did they find the settling into kind of, it's almost like a different kind of culture, or that is, you're used to doing everything in the Jewish way, but I just wanted to know how they found it when they got there. Thank you.
Pleasure.
That's a lovely question. So first thing, like I said earlier, I, as a daughter of immigrants, I lived the typical like daughter of immigrants life of like translating things for my parents and everything that comes with it. The government of Israel, if you're coming from a country that you don't speak English or you don't speak Hebrew, like I said, you get in a housing. In Hebrew we say Merkaz Klita. In that place you have schools, you have housing, and you have also Hebrew teaching. And also for people that come from a three-word countries like Ethiopia, you also have cultural studies, which means they teach you hygiene, they teach you how to use this, how to use that, and also you have like a temple. Now, we as a Jewish Ethiopian community, we have our own rabbis. In Amharic, we say kes, just like a pastor. And the way that we preserve Judaism is the same as any type of Israeli. So basically, we were eating the same way. In some places, we were even doing a bit more. And the way that we preserve is pretty similar. The only thing that changes the language of the prayers. Or, for example, Purim, which is the holiday of Esther and Haman. We never knew about that in Ethiopia, so we don't celebrate it, which is another big difference between like the communities. In Ethiopia, we had a holiday, Sigd, which comes from the book of Nehemiah. In the book, there is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the day that we fast, each person for himself, to repent the sins that we did as individuals. Sigd is the holiday that we as a community, we pray God and we ask for forgiveness for the sins that we did as a community. And the Ethiopian Jews took on that holiday, and we used to celebrate it in Ethiopia for thousands of years. That was a part of our faith and a part of a point that we had to like pray and ask again to come to Israel. And then when we came to Israel, we continued with celebrating Sigd, and actually that merged into the Israeli culture. And now in Israel, you have a day for Sigd, and many people come with the Ethiopian Jewish community into Jerusalem. We're walking, we're fasting, we're dancing. It's a different type of celebration because now we're doing it in Israel and not in Ethiopia. So thanks to the way that the system in Israel works, it culturally and all of that, and especially religiously, it was very easy to merge in.
Thank you. Okay, I saw a hand at this side. There you go. It seems like I'm not winning with the issue of the name, yeah? Are you guys scared of someone? Just say your name so they can know how to respond to you in your name. It's a conversation.
Good evening to you. My name is Mark. And thank you very much for your presentations. It's been very interesting to hear directly from various communities in Israel. What I would like to ask you is, what is your strategy in connection with reaching young people? I don't see any young people here tonight. Do you have any sort of reach into universities and Sorry, I did one. Do you have a program, an outreach program, where you're presenting similar talks and outreaches to the young people in South Africa?
South Africa, specifically?
Okay, I think that's for us. But I think this is the part of it. They will be training young people in Joburg. We just had a delegation now. We are training young people, launching Safi at UCT. So we are going towards that route where we are empowering young people with tools to step up and speak up for Israel. But I think above and beyond, the mission is with the pastors, that we re-emphasize on the pulpit now and then that Israel is a reality. It's not in heaven, it's here. It's just around the corner with an 8-hour flight. The more it becomes real, the day where we see Israeli flags in each and every church like we see here today, we will know that we are winning the battle. But yes, we have launched programs, and these are part of the initiatives, bringing young people, not just bring rabbis, not just bring experts, but bringing real stories of real people to engage with young people. Also social media. You can follow them on social media. These guys, they are the stars of Instagram, TikTok, and we want to get more young people activated. It can't just be me, Bafana, all the time on the news and on Instagram, or Gavi, or Elvis, but we need to make a circle bigger to show that united South Africa. But I'm sure you guys, from your perspective, what more can we do here so that we can get a bigger audience and to do a bigger work in a better way?
So for me, I think that first things is to be on social media as well. Each and everyone, try to get to your niche, to your people, to your community. When I started social media, I never imagined to have like million views of Arabs. I just wanted to tell the close people to me and the people that might get to my video about my story. And I think that being authentic and speaking from the heart, this is what allowed people to be close to me and to, get to my message and to keep watching my videos. So I encourage everyone to try to talk from the heart and try to connect more people. And also as communities to not be quiet, keep the activism going, keep doing things to bring people together, to unite people together, either with beautiful events, holidays, food. These things bring people together. And always remember that we are all fighting extremism. We are not fighting people. We are not fighting countries. We are fighting extremism. We are fighting ideologies and organizations that they want hatred and they want violence to be the tone of the people. So we need to know when to speak up against this without fear, especially if we are not Jews, especially if we are, if we have the power to overcome or to combat this hate. So to me, it's to always speak up, each person with his own power and what he can do.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Jack. I just wanted to comment on something to do with the food in Israel. As you can see, I like my food and I like my shawarmas.
Food can cause wars, okay? Be careful here.
I didn't talk about it, but the food the food in the center is the best, yeah? The restaurants in the center is the best. This is where they all go. Don't listen to them, they're up in the clouds in the north.
Well, we were traveling past Haifa up to the north there, and a pastor and myself, and I'm showing him around there, and we see a cafe with shawarmas, and it's lunchtime. We got to go in here, pastor, so we go in there, and all the stuff is packed out, of course, for the shawarma to fill up with. But the three Arab guys inside are watching soccer. Okay. So I said, we'd like to shawarmas, please. No, we're so busy now. This is a very important game. You help yourself with the stuff. Oh, that was a big mistake. Especially since I've been there before. So the pastor is very, very modest. He put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. When I came, I filled it up like there wasn't. Every little inch was full. And so I went to pay and I showed, well, thanks. And when they saw my shawarma, they just about freaked out. My eyes went like this. I don't think I'd ever allow anybody to pack their own shawarma ever again. And of course, when we went outside, sat at the sea, then my first bite, the whole thing exploded, it was so big. But the best shawarma I've ever had, okay? You win.
This is very special because not everywhere, also in Israel, like the north, you have a free open buffet, a free just come, very want to hospitality. Really, the north very special to the hospitality, all Israel, but the special the north. You can see also the Jewish and Arab very welcoming, extra welcoming in the restaurants everywhere. So yes, this is a special of Israel. Everyone, also the Arabs, also the Jewish, you can meet for the first time. Akhi, my brother, come. Yeah, this is the hotly people. This is very
that's
special,
true. Can I just ask something that's always intrigued me? You know, in Isaiah it says there's going to be a highway between Egypt and Israel, going all the way through. And you said now you've got this Egyptian connection with your father and all that sort of stuff. Do you ever see that happening? Is there something happening in Egypt that is warming up towards Israel, just as a matter of interest, if I can ask you that? Thank you.
You mean about the news talking that Egypt making some act in Sinai to
friendship? No, friendship. It says there's going to be prophetically a highway where, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. So there's going to be a forward.
And yeah, look, because my father Egyptian and I all the time see the relationship. I will talk like this. Until the regime of Mubarak, president of Egypt, the numbers of the Egyptians support Israel was very, very high. I think it's 28% of the Egyptian was has no problem with the Israeli, and the Israeli feel very safe to be in Cairo, Alexandria, and Sinai, everywhere in Egypt, okay? And there is, my father have a numbers how many Egyptians want to come to Israel and get the papers for the embassy of Israel in Cairo. But if today you go to the Egypt and ask how many Egyptians pro-Israel, I think it's around 0%. Why? Because two reasons. First of all, I think the currently government of Egypt, there is a good relationship between the government of Egypt of Israel, okay? But the Egyptian government didn't make any strategy to strengthen the relationship between the people. I know why. There is a lot of reasons, but it's there is no democracy in Egypt like in Israel. And when you have non-democracy regime, there is a lot of reasons why he didn't want the people be connecting with Israeli regime. But yeah, this is come from the government, I think.
No, but there is hope. There's Abraham Accords. There is different initiatives. There is hope that we may see Israel has more friends than in the past before. Now with Lebanon signing peace deals with their neighbors. So there is hope, Baruch Hashem. Chris?
So I'm Chris, and my question got lost in Jack's shawarma. He went on and on with the shawarma, and I forgot my question. So now that I'm trying to get the shawarma out of my mind,
All of us, all of us.
because I could do with, you can eat shawarma in South Africa,
Yesterday it was bad.
but even the worst shawarma in Israel is way better than the shawarma here, and the pita and the falafel. It's a fact of life. Okay. My question is, there's a lot happening between Lebanon and Israel at the moment. You've shared, and I've loved what you've shared. It's been very interesting. The villages in southern Lebanon, the Christian villages, I'm happy to hear that they are safe, and that. What do you think is going to happen relationship-wise? You know, maybe the southern Lebanese, because they have a connection to your family and the communities there, they have a better feeling for what's happening. But what about the rest of the Christian community and then the other communities in because I mean that country's been ravaged by the Palestinian Authority and Paris Liberation Organization, and then Hezbollah. I mean, it's been brutalized.
Syria, Iran.
Yeah, it's frightening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. Great question. So in Lebanon, unfortunately, we never had a consensus over what Lebanon is in general. So if you ask Christians, what is Lebanon, they'll answer something. If you'll ask Muslim, Sunni, what is Lebanon, they'll answer something else. Each one has its own narrative because of that civil war that we are still paying its prices to this day. But right now, it's the only time that the majority of the Lebanese people from all backgrounds, Christians, Sunni, Druze, and many Shiites as well, they have a consensus that the country need to gain its sovereignty back from Iran. And the majority are against Hezbollah's arms. They, with the disarmament of Hezbollah, with Lebanese army gaining the control over the country and all its territory, and they are actually in support of a peace agreement with Israel. If you go deeper into each sect, it's for different reasons. If you ask the Christians, Lebanese love Israel. They want peace with Israel. They are very open to Israel. We worked with Israel before in the civil war. Israel helped the Christians of Lebanon to protect themselves against the PLO and against Muslim Islamists. If you ask the Sunnis, after the Abraham Accords, the Arab world changed narratively its narrative toward Israel. You know, before it was very hostile. After the Accords, it was more not positive, but not hostile as it was before. So the Sunni of Lebanon, which are very impacted by the Arab world and by the Gulf countries, they started to think, okay, if they made peace with Israel, we want as well. If this will stop Iran from controlling our country, we will sign a peace agreement. The Druze as well. The Druze, they always go with the powerful voice. So currently in Lebanon, there is a strong voice of peace. The news, the politicians, you know, important key people in Lebanon are talking about peace and encouraging a public opinion that is pro-peace. And again, we never had it before. The people are very supportive of the government, and only a couple days ago we had the Lebanese president visiting Trump. It's the first time in 17 years that a Lebanese president goes to Washington. So it's really a lot of hope, and really diplomatic-wise, we are heading toward a peace agreement. What's exactly gonna include and what exactly gonna happen till that, we never know. But currently the majority are really toward peace agreement.
No.
Yeah, of course, of course. My father was a commander, and he called my mom and he said, "Go to the border," and we went to Israel together, absolutely. And my father actually, he passed away 13 years ago, and he's buried in Lebanon, in his village. So we can't visit, of course, but we could bury our, loved ones in their villages until Hezbollah discovered and created a huge scandal, and since 2018 closed this opportunity, option.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. I think also we have to look at how the war in Iran has happened recently, how it has shifted and changed the region. For the first time, the UAE was using the Israeli technology, the Iron Dome, to fight against the Iranian missiles. Today, we see that the Gulf is more aligned with Israel. We see that there's even talks that Saudi Arabia might be becoming, which will be a big blow, and it will be something that will change the region forever. So there is hope, as I said. Your name, your question, shoot.
I'm Amanda. I just want to mention, it's actually not a question. You were asking about the youth and why they're not here tonight. I believe that all the pastors actually have to really, I believe God must help them to educate them, and that they can know about Israel and the importance that we also have to really stand up for the truth of the Word of God, because the Word is so clear about these things. And I think we have a huge task all around the world, not even in South Africa. Like this morning, there was a pastor at our congregation, and he was from KZN, and he asked, "Where's our youth?" And he said, "I have a huge youth in my congregation, and I've equipped them with the Word of God, with Israel, and standing with Israel." And to me, that was a really heartbeat. I can experience that we have a task to educate the youth with that. And the other point is, I work with the homeless. And I really, because God gave me a passion about Romans 9 to 12, some of you will not know it, and it speaks there about Israel and the church, and the importance that we are grafted in, and that we mustn't boast over the natural branches. And I make my point in life, wherever I go, that I will share to people where I share the Word of God and study on it. I will share to them the importance of the prophecies, and also what the new Bereshit said, the new covenant, and how important is it for us as believers. And you know, there's a lot of them that will stand when there's a march in Sea Point and everyone goes against the Jews, and we will go and stand there, and we will go and pray there, and we will go and dialogue with some of the Muslim people to tell them it's not true. And when the pictures of the children was up in the people, we went there to pray. So I made it really for me as a task in life, because I felt the Lord laid it on my heart that I need to equip these homeless people with the truth and the knowledge of God. And this is all we have to do, all of us. And I want to tell at the times I was in Israel. I was 7 times already. I love Israel. And I love the people of Israel. And the one congregation took me to the Arab side. They also believers. And I was eating in the restaurant. I was giving the best food. And they had such good relationships. And I also went to the Druze and Elijah's there. And we had wonderful time together. And it's always, how do I approach people? And how is my knowledge about the Word of God? And that's all why I said the pastors have a huge task, because it's really a huge urge to equip the youth, because we're going to die and we're getting older, but we need to leave behind a legacy. But thank you for coming. I enjoy it.
Thank
Give
you
her
so
a
much.
round of applause. I'm going to go to Pastor Brad, and I'll just take one more hand, then we wrap up. Pastor Brad?
So firstly, I'm encouraged by the 3 of you. Thank you to Gavi for allowing you to share. The one is a statement and the one is a question. I'll leave the question for you to fight about at the last. It's got to do with food. So I had the privilege last year to go with the Foreign Ministry of Israel. Invited me. It was wonderful. We went to Nova. We went to all the places, and we saw everything. But the most encouraging was knowing that our bus driver was Muslim, our tour guide was Israeli, and to go into the hotels and see them still working the same. That was for me, as it always used to be. It was the same. So one of my favorite, he's almost a father to me. He's an Arab Christian, Bassam. He's a bus driver. He's got his own company. He's like a father to me. And my favorite tour guide that I go is Iyad. He's also in Bethlehem. He stays in Bethlehem. But whenever I go to Bethlehem, this is the question. The best falafels I have are in Bethlehem. Because they take me into it and they take it out of the pot and say, come, Pastor, eat. And I love it. You can't eat the shwamos or anything in South Africa. They don't know how to make it.
Don't get me started.
I, as far as I know, the best I've had is in Bethlehem.
Yo, gloves are off.
I told you it's not the north.
And at some point, you yesterday said you enjoyed the shawarma in Bojo Market. He did not land, huh? That one did not land. No. He's South African.
I want to be honest.
Yeah, no, we'll stick to the pride. Last question was here. Okay. Seems like, okay, I want a new hand. Pastor Brad gave me a very short time. It's a question. It's not a question, it's a statement. Okay, let me give Mama a question, and I'll come to you. Also a statement. Okay. Questions, then we'll go to statements.
Good evening. My name is Alda Williams, and I work with the South African Parliament. My question is to all three. Your presentation was very good. And I just want to know, since you are in South Africa, are you visiting various institutions to bring about your story? Because you know the division in South Africa about how they feel about Israel, especially our government. So are you speaking at various institutions to young people so that their mindsets can be changed and then thinking different about Israel? Thank you.
We're happy that you brought this up because we actually had some university engagements that were cancelled because of the pressure of, you know, pro-Palestinian or anti-Israel, that for us it's unacceptable, and I think you as a parliament member should do something about this because people are afraid, you know, they are afraid to create these gatherings because they are afraid of a backlash, of violent even, of, you know, students that will pay the price of, I don't know, being attacked or whatever for holding this kind of gatherings. So unfortunately, we were trying to reach out to universities and try to figure out this way how to do it in universities with no success at all. So I think in the parliament or in, you know, political parties should have a role in encouraging university, you know, directors, faculty members to actually allow and support gatherings from both sides to express their opinions, to speak up, to have people like us who want to, you know, show diversity and fight the fear and the kind of terror feeling that you have because you can't speak up because you're from Israel. So that's what we saw.
Exactly. I think it should be the education institution like the university is the best place to all the ideas or all the ideology take part and talk about. And if the university cancel it even just because Israeli come to speak, wow, it's a very ashamed. And this is happened for me not just here in South Africa. Also before 2 months I was in Holland. 4 events cancelled in 4 different universities in Holland because the speaker is Israeli. And I say, wow, and I not famous, and I not come to make any extremely or politics. No, I come as an Arab Muslim from Israel to share my bond, to share our reality. And yeah, it's very, so if the university think like that and cancel it, the events, like because Israeli, I said, wow, so how is the another situation will think if it, the education thinking like that. So yeah, it's very, very ashamed thing. So
Then I just have a follow-on question to Hafta. You said you fight for injustices. Is it only injustices for your community or for women? And what type of organizations do you present? Do you belong to an NGO? And do you work just in your area, or do you work globally?
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
You said you fighting injustices. Is it injustices for women or for your communities? Or and do your you work with organizations in
Yeah.
your area or globally?
Okay, so just like every country, you have racism. Any place that you will have different people, you're gonna have different opinions. And unfortunately, we can't do mind control yet and delete the idea of racism. Maybe in the future that will be a startup in Israel. But in the meantime, when I say injustice, I would talk about police brutality or even somebody being racist towards another person, or like in Israel, the media has a very, very big part of how people think. And when I say injustice, or when I talk about things that happen in Israel when it comes to racism, is because I was talking yesterday in the show and I was telling them this as well. As Israelis, as Jews, I believe that we can and we will be perfect. We need to set an example for the other countries. Although our situation is much better than other countries that have multicultural communities and people, we still not perfect. We still have where to improve in many sectors. 5 years ago, in 5 years, we had an incredible change. In 10 years, we have even a bigger change. At the end of the day, my community only started coming to Israel at middle of the, let's say, 1985, which means not even 50 years. Black people are in the United States for more than hundreds and hundreds of years, and our situation is still better, and in other places in Europe. So when I say injustice, any incident that will happen, there are people like me that will make sure that it will be on the news. It will be on the news. It's a democratic and very liberal country. So even somebody saying a slur might get very, very viral on social media, something that for other countries would be like, so what, he said this or he said that. No. And the second part of your question, that was in regards to Black Lives, right? So I run a campaign. I run a lot of campaigns for causes. For example, if there is something that involves police brutality, so I help them with making like posters and campaigns and things like that. I run few like social media pages for different causes. And the Tsahai in Amharic is sun, and Tsahai Local is the program that we run for Ethiopian Jewish women that want to run for political and social role. So that is like an NGO, and the rest I do fully voluntarily, but this is an NGO that I co-manage with another incredible, successful Ethiopian woman in Israel. She's like my mentor. She's almost 40. And we take women from all cities in Israel, women that are probably like past like second degree, women that are in very like important like roles at their professional life, but want to join the social work and want to be in their city or in the country. And what we do is that we help them learn how to speak to a crowd. We help them learn social media. We give them tools. We teach them about campaigns, how you get funding. As you know, it's a very expensive thing, and especially in Israel when you have like more than 40 different parties that are running. So yeah, this is what we do. It's programmed that usually between 6 months to 2 and 3 and 4 years.
You said 40 parties.
I said more. I said
I
more.
thought
than
South
40 parties.
Africa was leading with 48. How many you have on a
Dozens
ballot
and
paper?
dozens.
South Africa has over, I think, 40 towards 50 political parties on a ballot. It's like 2 pages, and they're all the same. But anyway, moving along.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to statements, but I'm looking at time. Pastor Brett, we are 5 minutes away. Keep going. You're a good guy. You're a good man. Quickly. It's fine, okay? Statement. Okay, quickly.
Yes, thank you. My name is George Kuri. Statement that I want to make. It's also icebreaker. It's going to be very short. My wife and I, traveled with a group of 104 people just before COVID to Israel. I have never eaten such a lot of boiled eggs. Everywhere we went to restaurants, and I said to my wife, I feel like eating some chicken. She said, where? There's boiled eggs. I asked the chef, give me something nice. He said, you know what? We make the loveliest boiled eggs. We traveled to Jericho. We traveled to Tel Aviv. And when our trip was over, I can tell you I didn't eat such a lot of eggs at home. But now I'm chowing eggs.
Yeah, no. But why are you talking about the salads in Israel? Everything is just salads everywhere. You know, I think that's why they stay so young. Anyway, Pastor Brett,
You have another statement.
he said I can pass. Are you
Myron.
happy now? No, it's not fine. I have time. Come on.
We want to hear it.
We're
Myron,
in the
we
house
wanna
of the
hear
Lord.
you.
Don't be angry.
I've been very involved in Israel all my life. And I am in a state of shock, Fuad, because I've never come across Muslims who actually love Israel. I mean, I'm talking honestly. The members of Knesset who are from the Muslim parties, they're not pro-Israel. So you're a very unusual person, and I'm thrilled to meet somebody like you. Okay, maybe you're not a religious Muslim, but it's very unusual though. Are there many people like you in Israel?
If I share my presentation, I will share a survey they make with the. Yes, I keep the trying to keep the prayers, and yes, I'm religious man and keep the halal vibe and the most majority, the most important that I respect everyone, and because there is a very beautiful sentence in the Quran, I very hope all the Muslims act like this, say وخلقناكم لتتعارفوا يعني Allah say I creating the people to know each other, not he didn't say to fight each other. So I very love this sentence, and I act in this sentence to know each other, to bridge each other, to strengthen each other, and this is the real Islam. And as a Muslims, I say to you, if you see any extremely act if of people they say about themselves, we are doing these triple things in the name of Islam, they are not the real Islams. So I say to you, the real Islam is really to respect all the humanity. And I grow up and listen from the Sheikh, from the Imam, a lot of stories about how our Prophet Muhammad was acting with his Jewish neighborhood. So this is the real Islam. We should respect all the people. And about the member of the Arab Knesset in Israel, there is now two types of member of the Knesset. There, of course, there is Arabs member of the Knesset. They join the Jewish parties. But about the Arabs parties, now we have two types. There is types of parties all the time from the establishment of the state of Israel until now, all the time in the position against the government. What all the time there are not just against the government. And in the last 5 years, we have a type of party. It's the Muslims party. It's a party of Mansour Abbas. In the 21, he joined the coalition of Bennett and the Lapid for the first time, and now he making a new ideology that we are the Arab party. We didn't want all the time be in the position. Okay, the one of the type want all the time be in the position and not making any project to moving on. He say, okay, I want to be join the coalition, join the Israeli government, and make influence from into the government. And there start to be another ideology of the Israeli politics. And the last thing I want to share, that they make a survey in the Arab of Israel before the war and the middle of the war and after the war end. And they ask two questions. How the Arab Israeli feel more identity for the Israeli identity or the Palestinian identity? And the second question was, how many of the Arabs want to see Arabs party enjoy the coalition or the Israeli government? So about the first question, before the war, it was a 67% of the Arabs of Israeli feel more Israeli identity. In the middle of the war, it up to 73 or 74, and now it about 79% of the Arab of Israeli feel more Israeli identity than the Palestinian identity. And about the second question, it was before the war, it was around 67% of the Arabs community want to see Arabs party join the coalition or Israeli government. In the middle of the war, it up to 75 or 76. And now, because we are very close to the new election in the few 2 months or 3 months, now we have around 80 or 85% of the Arabs of Israel accept to see Arabs party in the coalition. So
Thank you, Fuad. Thank you. Please give a round of applause. I think he gave. We have one question from the youth. From the youth. He came to save the youth. My brother, speak on behalf of the youth of South Africa. You are our last hope.
Okay. Hello, my name is Boaz. I wanted to ask you, like growing up, since you guys are in different like communities, like when you grow up, it's like your community is like what you understand. So for you, it's like your image, like I'm gonna say like you're Muslim, like okay, I grew up Muslim. It's like if I grew up Jewish. So when you change and you go out against the world, did that affect you mentally? Because I know it's very, very difficult nowadays with like social media. Like if I went out and I said like on the road or on the streets and I went to ask people like, what is your opinions on this? Like it's very difficult because of the backlash I would receive. So, and I don't know how people survive like mentally. Like a lot of people struggle with that and they just put up this face, this facade, and they keep on going. So I wanted to ask like, if you experienced that or if you didn't, because you guys, all three of you seem very composed and like you guys have done this. Like this is what you've wanted to do. And I want to grow up and I want to be something great. I want to join the army. And I don't know, it's like for me, it's like always been this dream to join the army, and it's something I want to do. So, and if I receive backlash, okay, no, you're horrible, you're not good enough to go in the army. Like for me, it's like, okay, I need to do it. So I wanted to know if you guys struggled with that or if you didn't. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Just to be sure, which army? IDF. Oh, okay. We have Chief, we need you there by Jimotsecha there. We need him on the SANDF when we buy bullets. Anyway, that's the question. How do you process? Yeah, I think you got the question clearly.
I will start with what you said at the end. Join the IDF. First thing. Come and join. You know, in Israel, if you before there is you before the IDF and there is you after the IDF, and it will help you become more like centered for sure, and more a man, and it will be a very good experience for you, especially if you will go to be a combat fighter. I'll sleep good at night. I know that he's watching us. I started creating content about Israel after the war, and I think I said it the other day at the show. As an Ethiopian Jew, I live in Israel. I speak Hebrew, and it's not that common to use the N-word in Israel. So I've never been called the N-word up until I started creating content online. And then I received a lot of N-words from many pro-Palestinians, and I received a lot of hate and like curses and stickers of monkeys, and suddenly all of this racism hit in me, and I was like, wow, all this because I'm Jewish and I support my country. Don't you think that's like common sense to support where you come from? I served, like I am a part of Israel. So I was, to me it was more strange rather than painful. Because I know that if I would use my platform and I would talk about Palestine, I would get hearts, and you're the best, and come join this podcast. And they would send me money, and they would tell me, oh, you black queen, you beautiful tea, and all of that. But they allow themselves to be racist towards Zionists. So I know that the hate that I'm getting is because of what I do, and I will not be silent with hate. If I get all of these bad words from these people, then I know I'm on the right side, because my side wouldn't behave like this.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did he answer you? You good with that? I'm in South Africa. I deal with it every day. Comrades call me a sellout. Comrades say I'm paid by Jews to go around speaking about this. The best thing to do, if you know what you are standing for is the right thing to do, you stand your ground. Even if 100 people think so, even if you are one, remember to stand your ground. And you realize that once you stand your ground, there are more others that you liberate to start speaking up. A couple of years ago, it was not fashionable to speak up for Israel. Now, there is Pastor Tom, there is Bafana, there is other leaders who are speaking up. There's Pastor Brad, he's taking trips to Israel. Now it has become fashionable to speak for Israel. But before that, you couldn't even say a word. So, I want to say one thing. They first came for the socialist. I was not a socialist, so I did not care. They came for black people. I wasn't black, so I didn't care. They came for Christians. I was not Christian, so I didn't care. They came for Jews. I was not a Jew, and I didn't care. Until they came for me, and nobody cared. So I'm just saying that in this world that we are living in, we need to stand our ground and remember that the very same people who hate Israel, they hate you too. And I've seen with me, before I went to Israel, I was the loving darling of comrades. I was a fighter for Palestine. Once I twisted, I had the K word, I had the N word, my inbox is bombing, I'm called names. But these are the very same people who say, we fought with you during apartheid. But the very same people cannot speak against slavery in the Middle East of black people. They can't speak about the death of Christians in Nigeria. But they claim to love black people only if you support their cause. If you dare question their cause, you support baby killing, you support the genocide, apartheid, all of these things. But when we ask them, do you support suicide bombing? Do you support kidnapping of children and women? Do you support raping of women? No, 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 no. That's Zionist propaganda. Everything is Zionist propaganda, and only they hold the truth and the monopoly over truth and morality. That can never be tolerated. We must fight back. Elon Musk said something. I'm not his favorite fan, but he said something. I support the normal people that you today call the far right, that you today called the conservative right, is the normal people who still believe in God, who still believe in family, who still believe in marriage, who still believe in law and order, who still believe that there's a man, there is a woman, is the normal people. No, I am not going to that debate. Pastor Brad, I thank you, my leader. Every time when you call, you always open your door for us, and we really appreciate you as a friend of ours. But before that, please give my wonderful Israeli friends a round of applause. Pastor Brad, over to you.
So there's always, you have this marketing book. So this is by my best friend. We phone each other daily. He's a South African Jew. And don't be put off because he's a Messianic Jew, because this book is written because him and his wife Jeff and Tatiana travel the nation standing for the God of Israel and his covenant Jewish people around the world. And this book is written against anti-Semitism, because that's been on the rise, and anti-Zionism. And the book is called How Israel Will Determine Your Future. And so he said, he's only launching it. He's coming to August. He's coming to South Africa. The books have arrived by me, but he said, I can give each one of you guys a gift. I'm going to give you one too. And Gabby. So Jeff is coming in August. He's landing, and the whole thing is about, it's filled with the scripture of the Old Testament, all about Israel. And if people today can't answer questions about Israel, that's the one purpose. When I spoke to Jeff, I said, Jeff, we have to do something. And he spent, I don't know how long, how many hours, Lisa, and he tried to finish it as soon as possible. It's published. They printed it, and no one's got a copy yet. You guys are the first guys to get a copy of the book. And so I've got one for Gavi too, and for Gavi. And they've got the nice ribbon on it, because they're the ladies and the gentlemen. And we want to thank them. But Gabby, we want you to close off on behalf of your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you to everybody who was here tonight. I want to leave you on a great note, a positive note. Israel is doing better than it ever has done before. We look towards Hezbollah. They're almost wiped out. Hamas is silent. The rockets are not coming in. My brother is telling me he lives in Beersheba. He's not hearing any more rockets. Iran is decimated. Their leaders are gone. And those that rise up against you, no weapon shall prosper. And this is the reality of what Israel is. This is the reality of what we join as Jews and Christians and Muslims when we recognize our relationship. Nothing that comes against us will win. No man shall stand and battle, like my friend Bafana was explaining today. No man shall stand against God. And God is the one who's created Israel. And if you want to stand against God, come, let's play the game. But we have seen, as the Romans, as the Egyptians, as the Babylonians, they've all fallen. Hitler, and we can carry on, and they're all gone. And yet, Israel, the Jews, still around. So come. We've got someone on our side, and he's bigger than everything you've ever seen. And then on that note, I want to just say thank you so much for being here. Spread the message. Talk about Israel is. Talk about South African Friends of Israel. Spread the message, because, as we say, each one of us are ambassadors And we've got to bring out that truth. We are the light unto the nations. So let's keep speaking out and standing up for Israel. God bless you.
Chris, you want to close off in prayer for us? I think Chris is, you all know Chris is the National Director of Bridges for Peace, and it was through him that we went with Gavi. Julie's now made Aliyah, and my wife wants to go.
You're going to make Aliyah. You're making Aliyah. Yeah. Father, we bless you. Thank you that although we may not physically make Aliyah, we can do so in our hearts. And Father, our hearts are with Israel. Thank you for this nation that perseveres in the midst of constant pressure, Lord, that never ends, and yet has a fountain of joy that just bubbles out of it that we've witnessed this evening. Thank you that we've seen the heart and the pulse of Israel this evening, Lord, and we want to thank you for what you've created there. I want to thank you that you are returning your people Israel to the land of Israel, and that indeed it is a land set apart. I pray your blessing upon each one of us as we go home this evening, Lord, safety on the roads. And we say this all in Yeshua's name. Amen.